Hello, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Live at the Waterhole. My name is Amy, and I will be with you for the next few days here at the show. And I'm so excited to be doing the Waterhole show again. And we're starting off here at Oldonyo Lodge in the beautiful Kenya. And you can see such a variety of animals already. Of course, remember that this is a live and interactive show. I would very much love to hear from you all. Oh, sorry, we lost the feed there, Kenya. But we here at Juma, where two warthogs are coming for a mud wallow. Oh my word, they're getting their leopard crawl on. I can't believe I'm looking through Dam Cam now after being at Juma on off for the last 2 months. And now I'm behind the screen watching these warthogs in a waterhole that I know so well. But like I was saying, remember that you can chat to us. So please do send through your comments and questions. You can do so on the Wild Earth app or the website. Chat to us in the YouTube chat stream. Just remember to use @FC. Otherwise, you can also join the conversation on X using the hashtag Wild Earth. Penelope, lovely to hear from you. You say, hello, Amy. So glad you didn't disappear. Love your enthusiasm and love your work. Penelope, thank you for those words. It's always wonderful to hear encouraging things. And yeah, I think it's so important in the world we live in to always be kind to one another. And it's always good to hear things like that. I love what I do. And if there are people out there who appreciate it, it makes it all the more worth doing. But yes, I didn't disappear. I'm here for 8 shows between now and when I head back to Juma. So I'm definitely going to be around in the next week or so, which is great. Old Punkster, yes, hello. It's good to be with you all. And aren't these warthogs just having the greatest time? Oh my goodness. And these are views of warthogs we only really get from Dam Cam, especially in the Sabi Sands. They are so skittish. And if you were to drive here, they would just simply run away. Whereas with this amazing camera, we get to see the private lives of warthogs in the Sabi Sands. Oh my goodness, they are loving life. Oh, there's an elephant. No wonder the warthogs had to move away, although it is on the far side. But there we go. How awesome is that? Oh, Darcy Miller, hello. Lovely to hear from you. Yeah, it's great to be back here on Live with the Water. I really love doing this. It's so relaxing. I mean, I love going on drive, of course, but this is a wonderful job that gets to be in between my stints on site. You can see by the fact that these elephants are all coming to the waterhole, the warthogs are coming. Maybe we'll be lucky enough to see some other animals coming to mud wallow in different parts of Africa. But here at Juma, it is warm, everybody. It's not blisteringly hot, but I feel the UV index is very high. And it's actually building up for a change of weather from tomorrow for about 4 or 5 days. There's meant to be a little bit of rain on the way, cooler weather. So it's going to be an interesting change. So these animals are enjoying a little bit of mud today. Oh, Penelope, I think this was to do with the warthogs, but that you say that they're your favorite uglies. I know the warthogs are meant to be part of the ugly five. I don't know why. They have the cutest faces. They really do. Their eyes are so tiny on their big faces. I think they're adorable. Yeah, Laura Moore, that's exactly right. With these larger, well, with elephants, I think rhinos are the same, and warthogs not having many sweat glands. Part of being able to cool down is actually using something like mud or water to be on their bodies, and then when the wind blows, that helps to cool them down. Another favorite mud wallower is the buffalo. They do have sweat glands, but far less than something like cattle, for example. So they also revert to mud wallowing to help cool themselves down. Robert, you'd like to know if elephants sneeze? I'm sure that they can. That's a very good question, actually. If I think about what's required to be able to sneeze, they have lungs, they have a nose, even though it's particularly long. And so if anything gets into their nasal passage, that may bother them. I mean, what is sneezing? It's a sort of an automatic reaction that we have to get rid of something that's bothering us in our nasal cavity. That's why often someone sneezes when it's dusty or even pepper, because those particles tickle, inverted commas, the very fine senses in your nose. So I can absolutely imagine an elephant sneezing. It's a pleasure, Alaramwa. This elephant seems like the happiest elephant in the whole world at the moment. But most elephants seem that way when they're at the water, don't they? Looks like the blacksmith lapwings are shouting today. I don't know if something's bothering them. We know that their nests are simple little scrapes in the ground, and often if there's something that's on its way to potentially stand on the nest, or maybe something like a monitor lizard or even a snake, they tend to chirp like this, maybe even just do anything to deter the attention of the potential threat to them. But I don't see them anywhere at the moment. I can just hear them. chirping. I can't say if that is the one that's chirping, although it did look like its beak was moving there. And the way it's sitting is often the way they sit when they do have a nest in the shade. So they're not doing it to incubate, they're actually doing it to cool, with the parent lapwing a source of shade for the eggs so they don't overheat. There's something moving there behind the trees, but it could just be a bird. Oh my word, there we go. That's what we were waiting for. And this waterhole is just that perfect point now for an elephant to mud wallow. It's just hasn't got much left. There's a lot of mud as the water level gets lower and lower and lower. It's nice, deep, thick mud as well for something like an elephant. Yeah, Penelope, you're 100% right. I mean, the water level is low, um, and it's something that happens every year. We've been very lucky with the amount of rain that fell earlier this year in the wet season in order to sustain the waterholes all through the year. And luckily, they didn't run dry. So, even though, of course, it is sad somewhat, some may say, to see the bush so dry, to see the water hole so low, is part of the natural cycle of things. And yes, of course, the rains are going to make a huge difference. And I love to see the bush come alive. It's incredible. But I also really enjoy the bush when it's dry like this. It's what I grew up visiting the Kruger at in the June July school holiday. In South Africa, that's the time of year. That's one of our longer breaks. And we used to travel up from the Eastern Cape to the Kruger, and so I knew the bush growing up like this. This is what the Kruger looked like. But there's no denying that once the rains come and the water holes are full again, and the bush is green and the grass is tall and the birds are singing and there's babies being born everywhere, that it's undeniable, amazing, and something that I think everyone should experience. Of course, you've just got to deal with the heat that comes along with that. But luckily, game drives are at fantastic times of the day where it's still nice and cool for the most part. And yeah, the days are long. You've got these gorgeous sunsets and warm evenings to sit around a fire or even have sundowners before you head to have dinner. So it's just all these things that work together in the summer to create an amazing experience. Oh, there's a herd on the way. You could hear that trumpet was of some more elephants approaching, and the beautiful sounds of the Hadida ibis accompanying us now. Hopefully, we get to see those other ellies come down to the water. That would be great. Actually, this morning when I was packing up and moving out my room, there was a whole herd of elephants in the drainage line that is just in front of the 4 rooms at the bottom of the camp. Then for me to have ellies right there. And here we have what Hardy does. I think they're cleaning their beaks on that log. There's an interesting sound, like a something flapping very loudly. I'm not sure. Very quickly. Well, it's been a wonderful start here. The first bit of the show at Juma. We might be back a little bit later, but for now, let's head over to Zimbabwe and see what's happening at Victoria Falls. Ah, some beautiful birds right here at the teeth of Zimbabwe. We've got a yellow-billed stork on the right and a heron on the left. And you may wonder why I refer to this being the teapot spot, but if you look at Zimbabwe, as it actually looks like a teapot shape, and Victoria Falls is right at the spout, which is very interesting to think of it that way. And we always have such amazing bird sightings here at Vic Falls Safari Lodge. Plenty of them hanging around the waterhole. Also crocodiles I've seen here. Lots of vultures, marabou storks, impalas, kudu. And this is a bird that we often see hunting when it opens its wing and casts a shadow, which helps it see into the water. Okay, let's head over to Hyena Pan. Oh wow, this is actually a new location for me on the show. I don't know when it was added, but I haven't been here before. And this is so cool. There we have some elephants drinking. We've got a little one here. Well, this is just such a beautiful scene and so cool to see a different location. I'm loving this spot here with these trees and the waterhole that Ellie's walking through is so picturesque. And of course, the elephants here favoring the trough where the fresh water is, of course, coming from. And we often see elephants doing that. And then they'll sometimes use the bigger waterhole when they want to splash themselves and cool down their bodies, maybe go for a swim. This one on the left is resting its foot now, right on the edge of that trough. How cool is that? Just taking a bit of a break. Oh, there, the ones in the back now you can see heading to the water to actually splash mud on themselves. I think the one's laid down there. Oh, there goes another one. Sat down. Tina, so that behavior is an interesting one when they stick the trunks in their mouths. They are often it's part of a greeting sometimes to get a good smell of the other individual. Sometimes it has to do with contact. It's the organ of Jacobson, which is that very special organ in the roof of an elephant's mouth also is there, so that could be part of why they put the tip of the trunk in mouth like that, allowing the other individual to absorb all those pheromones or just scent that comes from the other individual and sort of picking up who this elephant is, and they can learn a lot about each other through doing that. And sometimes I remember I was actually chatting to Steve as well, and he was saying that sometimes they do that after not seeing each other for a long time. So it's fascinating to think about. This looks like they could be mapani trees here. I'm not exactly sure. As I say, I haven't seen this location before, but just the color of the leaves that on the ground look very mapani like. And just the general shape of the trees as well, sort of growing in straight long stems, trunks. Well, this was awesome. I hope we get to come back here again, but we are going to head back over to Juma. Ah, the herd arrived. Oh my goodness, what is going on here? Just can't get up. Oh, this is fantastic. It really is elephant energy today here on the Waterhole show with so many of them at so many locations. It's actually nice to see these Ellies hanging around a little bit often here at Juma. They literally come, quickly finish off what they need to do and move on again. I think there's a little one that's laid down there on the. Oh, oh no! It's hitting a rock, rubbing a rock with its foot. I thought there was a little one that just collapsed. Was like, no, I'm done. Love when the little ones do that. Like, I'm not moving another step. I am tired. Yeah, that's what I thought was maybe a little elephant lying down, but of course it's not. It's just a rock that's been used as a bit of a scratching post there. All right, let's head over to Tao. here we go. We're at a Tau back in Madikwe Game Reserve, and there's an elephant here as well having a much needed drink, I'm sure. There's a herd of wildebeest in the background and two blacksmith lapwings closest to the front of the screen. Now, this is a place that can just transform, unbelievably so. And it's reaching sort of the pinnacle of dry season now before the first rains come. And in Madikwe, sometimes those rains come a little bit later, or they come but not such heavy force. So I remember last year we only saw it really starting to green up in actually the beginning of this year, January, February into March. And it gets green for quite a short period before everything gets dry again. But it is unbelievable how it changes here and even all around behind where the elephant is standing, as well as where the wildebeest are. Green grass grows, if you can believe it. And this boy is doing a proper job of getting himself muddy from head to toe. It's relaxing now. You can see how it's got its 1 foot bent. And I think that is a common moorhen that's moving just behind it there. Yeah, our Lauren, you're so right. Elephant ears are do resemble butterfly wings in that way, the way they sort of move to and fro gently. And when a butterfly comes to rest, they often do that with their wings. And I think in nature, there's so many things just like that. A similar design, if you want to explain it, like describe it that way. Um, Things that are linked together. And I always think of when I see the silhouettes of marula trees or even knob thorns or anything like that in the evening time at sunset driving back to camp. I always think that that reminds me so much of a network of arteries or human body or even in an animal's body, particularly the structure of that within the lungs. And I think it's so fascinating that trees, which provide the necessary oxygen that we need, their silhouettes, especially when they've lost their leaves, look like that of the inner workings of the human lung. And it's just fascinating. And there's little things like that, connections that I often notice when I'm out in nature, and they just make me smile. And thank you for that close up of the elephant, just showing you from head to toe the textures of the body, the way the sun is shining, making it glisten, and the amazing skin and wrinkles of an elephant who is having a joyful time today. Ah, there's a waterbuck and there's some more elephants on their way to the waterhole. It did actually look like there were some more that were on their way, these elephants, but I just love to watch how they change in texture from, I mean, they are already gray, of course, but side is a more light brown color, maybe a bit reddish, depending on the soil type, of course. Oh, wow, look at that wind come through there with the dust. You can actually see the whole body of the elephant change to a different color. With these boys, they're just going to get nice and shiny. Arena, it is an amazing sighting, isn't it? Um, it's just always special. I have missed this show so much, and I forget how calming and relaxing it is. What great conversations we get to have here. Really dedicate a lot of focus to all of you viewers at home as well, which is wonderful being able to chat with you all. Robert, you are wondering, where are the crocs? I don't know, Robert. They could very well still be here. Um, just not that we've seen. Crocs are, however, able to move water holes if they need to. But by what I've seen, there is still enough water in here to sustain a crocodile. Sometimes, in desperate times, they can even survive in just moist mud. So, for them, they probably here somewhere. I know of two that are generally here. We'll see if we can spot them, but they probably are here, Robert, somewhere. They also sometimes lie on the banks to heat up. Being reptiles, that's quite an important part of what they need to do. They could also be on the closer bank to where this camera is mounted, so we can't see them. Tyler, you'd like to know if female elephants ever roam around alone. Tyler, highly unusual. I'm not going to say never. I have seen a female alone before, but she was very distressed. It seemed like she had a wound around her anal area, which was it was very sad to see. And the herd, she couldn't find them for some reason, so that was a very sad situation. But generally, when it comes to female elephants, if you see a female, you know that a herd is close by, somewhere around in the vicinity. Now, it's not to say, like I said, that you can't see a female completely on her own. It just is not the general way we understand the social structure of elephants. And it's something that is unusual. I do know that sometimes females break away from a herd. Often it's the one with a calf, and that can be a herd that constitutes a herd, a female with her offspring. And that could be due to just feeling the herd is getting too big and competition for resources is too great. And that's a similar thing that happens with lion prides. Any sort of social community animal, all the way from birds to dwarf mongooses to community nesting birds to dwarf mongooses to wild dogs, elephants, lions, anything that's social in their social structure. There can be individuals who feel the pressure and decide to leave, um, and basically start their own group. Penelope, thank you so much for letting me know. You say that you did see one croc yesterday. So there we go. From what I understand of Madikwe, I've never been to this reserve, but Tau waterhole is one of the largest waterholes on the reserve. So I think the crocodiles that are here would tend to stay here because there is a good water supply and will probably last until the rains come, which is great news for those crocs. So they also have a little bit more of an isolated area here in comparison to, for example, like Jamala, where those elephants and buffalo just come right into the water, and it would be very difficult for a croc to sort of do its thing in such a disturbed waterhole. Whereas here they come, but they don't come all the way across, especially between the grass and things like that. Sometimes we do see an elephant here or there. You can see the paths they've forged through the grass as well. You can see a warthog in the background, a little herd of impalas, it looks like, as well. Very peaceful. And it's always nice to see. Oh my word, look at that waterbuck. It's down. Unless it just sunk into the grass. Oh my goodness. That is hilarious. Oh my word, it did sink down. I was wondering if it actually was kneeling like a warthog or if it's just that the ground is given way below. But it was loving life like that. It didn't have to bend down so far. Oh, well done. Of course, being waterbuck, they are very comfortable around the water. I think they enjoy it. I've seen them run into water for cover before as well. And we have some more Ellies here now that have come to join. I think they've joined the other one that was busy here. Yeah, brazen hearted. Absolutely. There's so many beautiful elephant families at all of these different waterhole locations today that we visited. And it's so cool that we get to watch them and enjoy the views of them. Oh, that big boy's now taken a seat. Oh my goodness. I love it when the big elephants lie down as well. We don't often see them do it just because they are so big, so it's quite a lot of effort for them. Yeah, Mindy, I'm very glad that the water pipe didn't get stuck. Um, but I think with the extra grass there, that's helpful, makes it a little bit more. There's sort of roots and things there to help support it. Also, it's fully grown, so that would also be useful to for it to have the strength to be able to pull itself out, and also the extra water there makes it not so sticky. I think in patches where there's no water whatsoever, the mud can be much more sort of dense and with no movement, which can make it a lot more sticky. Dark Main Lover, hello to you. Wow, thank you for your wonderful message. It's really appreciated. And I miss the drives already. But I know Eric and Andrew, well, Eric anyway, who's basically taken over from me, is just going to be having the best time. He's going to see so many new birds, let alone mammals. And yeah, it's great. And I'm glad that I get to overlap with him again in oh, about 2 weeks' time or so at the end of the month. So that's going to be fantastic. Can't wait to hear all the stories, all the things that he's seen. And I saw a comment today somewhere that he's like a kid in a candy store. His eyes are just popping out of his head everywhere he looks, and it's just wonderful actually to have that reminder of how special the Sabi Sands is, and what we get to see there, even on a quiet day, is still magical and very special. Oh my word, that elephant's whole head, well, not the whole head, but its eyes and everything's under the water there on the left. You just see the trunk coming up to breathe. Oh man, it is just loving life, isn't it? You can just imagine these other three boys saying, "Come on, Joe, it's time to go. We are tired of waiting for you now." He's like, "No, I don't want to leave." He's not ready to finish his pool party. Mindy, I definitely think they're talking to each other. Maybe not all the time, but elephants communicate with frequency level of sound that most of us actually what we can't hear falls subsonic to our hearing ability. But I also do think that sometimes they're just quiet, and they just, because they've known each other for a long time, It happens like that. Sometimes, even with us, you don't really need to speak. You're just in the presence of that other person or that other elephant. I do also wonder if these elephants can sort of smell the rain, if it's something that they, well, I think they can when it's on its way, but if they, get excited, if they're actually like, ooh, the rains are coming, if their behavior changes at all, it's always interesting to think of things like that. What goes through their minds when they start to smell the clouds building and the atmosphere changing. But all four of these bulls have had a good pool party here at Tau. Just taking some time to rest, it looks like. Oh, I was hoping we'd go back there. Let's head back to Hyena Pan. Ah, more Ellies. And look at this one that's got its foot in the water. I don't know if that's the most polite thing to do, little one. Well, it's been awesome to see the elephants here once again drinking. Let's head to Tembi. Well, it's always a beautiful scene that greets us here at Tembi Elephant Park in northern KwaZulu-Natal of South Africa. You can see the elephants are around. Of course, the grass has gotten quite brown, which will change as the rains are coming already into the east coast of South Africa. There's also a small herd of impalas on the far bank. Sometimes we see nyala here as well. They love to hang around this waterhole. And all these sort of hollows that you can see closest to the camera on the near side of the waterhole, they usually where the eddies come to mud bath. They are full with water in the summertime, and they create a really great place for someone to splash themselves with mud, maybe lie down, have a good rub. But not only the elephants, also things like warthogs, we've seen using them. But of course, now with it being dry, there is no water around to form. But in a few weeks or months' time, they will definitely get nice and muddy again. and the ellies have all sort of grouped together there on the left-hand side. And I do know that they often love to throw themselves with sand. There's some lovely sandy soil there, where these elephants tend to throw it on their backs. I think the one's currently doing that now, but these others might be walking around towards us. We'll just have to see. Awesome to see some different elephants at a different reserve. Let's head to Entori. Oh wow, birdies. That is so cool. Well, they definitely got red bulls, don't they? So we could be looking at a few different things. I'm gonna take my time to try and ID them. Could be red-billed quelias out of breeding plumage at the moment. I think those are firefinches that are closest to the water, though. They look like a different species. We could also be looking at village indigo birds, because they've also got the pink bills that last out of breeding season. But that's a very, very thick conical shaped bills. So I have a feeling it could be. Oh, they've also got pink feet. Oh, this is fun. This is why I love birding, because it takes some effort sometimes to identify them. Have to look through our bird list. Also, this is East Africa, so we mustn't forget that. Oh, there we go. That looks like a Jameson's 5-inch. See the very, very red, but it's got a grey bill. If I'm not mistaken, it is slightly blurred on my side. So, but yeah, it doesn't look like a red bill. It looks like a Jameson's. The African 5-inch is the other 5-inch that has a grey bill, but it's very grey all the way through, even in the male. So the males are the ones that tend to be redder. Oh, this is awesome. Yeah, I definitely think these look like a pair of Amazon 5-inch and red-billed quelias that have those very red, quite thick conical shaped beaks. They've also got that quite clear white eyebrow on top of the eye. You can see that there now. tricky to tell the size as well. The village indigo birds also an option, but they are very small birds. These just look a little bit larger in size. Ah, guinea fowl, helmeted guinea fowl. Look how beautiful they are. Oh, and what an amazing close-up. That is stunning. I love that sort of luminous blue on the face. Wouldn't that make a beautiful photo with the three of them together? Ah, that's stunning. Oh, the whole flock is here having a drink. This is awesome. This is such a beautiful water hole. Just that sort of eye level that we have here with the water is so special. Also, one of the newer locations that have been added since I started doing the show, which is always cool. Can only imagine what it must be like to see an elephant here when you're so low down, or anything really else that may come to drink. The guinea fowls feel huge. Looks to be quite a few birds in the tree there. That looks like a weaver of some sort on the right, just from what I can see briefly. but it could be very much something else. Could be a starling, actually, now that I'm looking at those colors again. Which looks like it has superb starling, but without that bit of white. Yeah, it does look like it, hey, doesn't it? I know that there are quite a few different species of starlings in Kenya, ones that we don't find in southern Africa. That is looking somewhat like a superb starling there. It did look a little bit duller, and the eye color looked slightly different. It also didn't have that extra white bit that seems to be on the superb starlings, where the sort of glossy color and the chest, sort of that beautiful orangey color meet. Oh, there's another one up in the tree a little bit higher. Yes, there we go. It's interesting, the eye color though. With a superb starling, we see quite almost like a white eye. And I see that this one, the orangey chest sort of reaches up to its shoulders. I think this may be a Shelly starling, everyone. How cool is that? It's a new bird species for me. They've got more of this reddy yellow-orange eye. And the auburn colored part, those beautiful, it's a difficult color to describe. It goes up just onto the beginning of the wings. Oh, sorry, we lost the feed there. But such cool birding. How amazing. Wonderful to add a little bit of variety to the show today. We are back now at Tau with these Ellies who have hung around. They're coming very close to us here at the camera, feeding on the green grass, looks like. Dark Mane Lover, you enjoy seeing birds perched in trees. It is a bit of fresh air, isn't it? We see often on this particular show as well, birds, of course, on the ground around the waterholes. But it is lovely when we can show you the ones that are in the trees as well. And Penelope, you are loving all the new locations. Me too. It is fantastic to be able to offer such variety. And speaking of variety, we've got a one of the larger goose species there, spurwing goose, as well as it looks like a little sandpiper that's going about. Oh, it's moving out the way of that elephant now. It's scurried off to the left, off of the left side of the screen. But I think we've seen wood sandpiper here before, if I'm not mistaken. There, it's coming back on now. You can see its reflection in the water. Oh, wow. Elephant is on the move. Fuller, I haven't spotted any crocs today. That definitely doesn't mean they're not here. Apparently, Penelope was saying that there was one here yesterday, so I'm pretty sure that it would still be around. But of course, if it is quite far away from the camera or very well camouflaged, which it can do, especially when it's full of mud, then it makes it a little bit trickier to spot. There's lots of things that do sometimes trick you into thinking it's a crocodile out here with mud and different things that sort of stick out the water. Yeah, dark mane lover, without a doubt. Sometimes I am so enthralled in watching the elephants that I forget to say something. It's they're fascinating, and like you say, they are intelligent as well. So just to relax and enjoy them doing their thing is so wonderful. I see the two black-winged stilts are still around as well. They're the ones in the background there where that algae is. And another elephant making its way to maybe the other one here, maybe to join the bulls that were on the far side of the waterhole. Crazy to see that dust just blowing past. It shows you how dry it is. And I think of the land as almost something that's alive in a way and just so thirsty. And when those rains come, it just must satisfy, the earth so much and just absorb as much as it can. Oh, is that a warthog? Oh, well, we have an elephant right here. Hello, boy. Sugar bits, yes. I think I've seen lilies at some of the locations, the water lilies, where we've seen jacanas before. I can't think of a particular location off of the top of my head right now, but I do remember seeing water lilies somewhere along the line, if not here at Tau as well. We'll wait to see if the flowers pop out. Hello, boy. Another boy has arrived to completely smother himself this afternoon. And it definitely has been a live at the waterhole full of animals wanting to cool down. I wonder if he's also going to sit down and roll around, have some fun in the waterhole. Well, we've come back over here to Juma where another Ellie's arrived. Surprise, surprise. And here we can really hear those splashes, which is always great when we've got the full sound experience to go along with the picture. Oh, sugar bits. You want to know which flowers, when seen, will know summer's on the way. So actually, there's some trees that are flowering already that make me feel hopeful for summer. And that is one of the first trees to flower are the knobthorn trees. And there are a few of them that are already actually not only got flowers, but green leaves that are coming through. So that's always right end of August, early September, we start to see the knob thorns flowering. Giraffes particularly love to eat that, but I've also seen monkeys, elephants enjoying the flowers of knob thorns. But it is really only the animals that can get high, quite high up in the trees because they tend to flower right at the top of them. And so that is fascinating to see the knobthorn flowers. Also, I saw one tree wisteria started to flower now that it is pretty much spring, very much so. The trees and the flowers are starting to come. So actually, once all the flowers come, summer's on their way because most plants tend to flower in the springtime. Sounds like there's a squirrel somewhere very close to where the dam cam is. That maybe. Ah, there we go. I was like, there's a squirrel very close to us somewhere. I've seen it many times actually in this spot. I think many of you who watch the dam cam frequently will agree that there's often a squirrel there. But that was particularly loud. Brazen hearted. So no, not a silly question at all. You'd like to know how elephants deal with the mud in their mouth, eyes, and trunk after a mud bath. So particularly for their eyes, they've got really long eyelashes, really long eyelashes. I mean, I am yet to see an animal with a longer eyelash than an elephant. Wildebeest do as well, but of course, being a smaller animal, they're not quite as long, I don't think, as an elephant's eyelash. Maybe proportionately, they may be longer, but in actual length, I think an elephant's got the longest eyelashes out here. So that helps a lot with being able to protect the eye. They, of course, I think close them when they do go under the water. In terms of mud in their mouth, I think that's also there's a terrapin. I think that's also something that they close their mouths, or if it does get into their mouth, they can just wash it out with water. Also, I think animals out here aren't so worried about getting mud in their mouths or in their noses or things like that, because they do sometimes practice geophagia with actually eating the soil, and it doesn't do any harm to them. With regards to their trunk, I think that gets cleaned out pretty quickly. Also, they do blow bubbles sometimes, so maybe that stops the muddy water going in. But they use it constantly for water, and I think it gets washed out eventually. But that might lead to what we discussed right in the beginning with regards to sneezing that they may need to do. And you can see them now starting to dust bathe, throwing that dust on themselves, which sticks to their bodies now that they've put some water on themselves, which helps create a layer. I think it also might just create a bit of protection for them. Some say from the sun, although their bodies are full of melanin, the skin is full of melanin, so that already is a layer of protection. But I think it might be a nice texture for them. Maybe once they've put the dust on and they go and scratch against something, it makes it a little bit rough, because often scratch actually extremely smooth because of all the use over the years. So I think the dust also provides almost like a bit of a scraper or an exfoliation tool that they can use on their skin. There's that lapwing back. I think there may be a nest there. I can't say for certain. I haven't seen the eggs, but it does seem like also the way they were chirping today, that they were to distract maybe the elephants, maybe something else that we couldn't see. Okay, thank you for the information. So apparently there was a lapwing chick that hatched early hours of the morning on the opposite bank, almost from across the dam camp. So I think, oh, is that it? Is that the chick? Oh no, that is so. It is, everyone. It is. It was sort of in the parents' feathers there. That was definitely the little chick. Oh, cute. Amazing. Yeah, there it is. It's alive. Oh, man. Good luck, little lapwing. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today here at Live at the Waterhole. I will be back with you tomorrow, so I'm already looking forward to that. But thank you so much for your comments and questions today. It's wonderful to be back with you all, and I look forward to doing it all again tomorrow. Remember that this afternoon sunset safari is coming up next.